All right, so to get started, we can go into After Effects. So we have After Effects open right now. So let's get started by right-clicking, making a new folder. Call this one Footage. And then let's Command-Tab to our Finder window. We'll go into Tropical Boat Scene, Footage. We'll grab our footage. We'll drag it in here. Okay, now that we have our footage in, what we'll do is we'll go to Composition, New Composition. Now I know our footage is 1920 by 1080. You can see that right here. So we're going to match that, 1920 by 1080. Okay, square pixels, 23.98, that's fine. Our duration is 6 seconds and 6 frames, so that's what we will create here. Okay, and background color black, that's fine. We can go to OK. We're going to bring our footage down. Now, alternatively, I could have just dropped that onto this button here and it would have created this, but I tend to always create my own sequences because then I'm guaranteed to have the correct resolution that I want to work with. Okay, so we can click this, enter it, call it boat footage scene. Okay, so now we have a sequence created and we can scrub through to see what it does. Okay, so I actually have one frame here, so I'm just going to go to the end and press N. That'll make it a little shorter. We can right click and go to Trim Comp to Work Area, and then we've adjusted for that extra frame we didn't need. Alright, so motion tracking is very powerful because you can use it to track your footage and create specific keyframes that attach to a certain part of the frame. For example, in this lesson we will actually track this boat, and then as we play the footage, our track will follow the boat perfectly. So using that tracking data, we can actually adjust things like, let's say we wanted to remove this piece here, or we wanted to attach text to the boat, or really do anything with that tracking data because it's attached right to the boat. So I believe most people don't know that Mocha AE actually comes with After Effects. If you're a beginner, chances are you don't know about it. And Mocha is a tracking program. There are other versions of it, standalone versions that have a lot more high-end features, but the one that comes with After Effects is actually fairly good as well. So in order to track this footage in Mocha, what you do is click on your layer, you can go to Animation, and then Track in Mocha AE. So what that's going to do is it's going to send our footage to Mocha. Okay, so let's go to Mocha. So now we have Mocha open here. This is a new project. We have the name here, Tropical Boat. That will be the name of our project. Right here we have the location. This is where the project will be saved. So let's go to Change. Let's go back to our Tropical Boat Scene, into Projects, and we'll just make a new folder here called Mocha. We'll create. The only thing we really need to worry about is that our frame rate is correct and our aspect ratio. So we're working with HD footage, and then we'll hit OK. So then it loads up our footage here. I'm just going to click and drag the end here to make it larger. Okay, so if we use this little white timeline cursor here, we can scrub through and see all of our footage from start to finish. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is, while we're doing this, we want to analyze our footage. We want to check out and look at different parts of our footage and identify what would be a good place to track. So in this case, what we want to do is we want to track the boat. So the boat is what we will pay attention to. So as we're scrubbing through, we want to look for places that don't change much. I would say somewhere here would be a good spot. And what you also want to do is identify places that have a change in color or sharpness, things that kind of stand out. So I think the black windows here would be good, this edge, and maybe around the letters here. So somewhere right around there would be a great spot to track. Okay, so what we want to do is set this to the beginning. we're going to go up to the top here. We're going to choose this tool, which is the Create X-Spline tool. We're going to click it. And just like in After Effects with the mask tool, what we're going to do is just start clicking. Okay, and then at the very end, once you're done, you just right click and it'll close it. And then it created that layer for us up here. Okay, so that is our track point that's set to our first frame. Okay, so we can actually go in and adjust some of these if we feel that it needs more data to work with. And it might be difficult to see, so what we're going to do is I'll actually hold Z and then click and drag, and I can actually zoom in on this spot a little more. Okay, you can also hold X if you want to move this around. So we have a surface tool, and you can see what it does. It makes a little box with 4 corners. So we're going to take this corner, and we're just going to try to align the side of this boat, because we want to tell Mocha that the side of this boat has this perspective. Okay, so to reference that, you can see that we have a smaller area on this side and a longer area on this side. So it's still not correct exactly. So what the goal here is to get this shape to look like the perspective of this side of the boat. Okay, so what we can do is pull these around until we feel that they kind of match the perspective of the boat. Okay, so now we can start tracking. So down here in the input channel, we have the luminance set up, which is what we want. The minimum % of pixels used is set to 90 right now. If you find after you do your first track that it didn't do a great job, you can play around with these numbers. And the way to do that is you just click and kind of go in a circle, or go the other way. I think it works pretty good at around 90. At the beginning, we kind of analyze this footage, so we should have an idea of what's happening in this scene. And to explain it, we have this boat starting from the right side and moving towards the left side. So we have a handheld camera, so there's a bit of motion, and we don't have much perspective though. This surface of the boat generally, for the most part, stays perfectly flat towards our camera. So for this one, we would probably only work with translation, scale, and rotation. So let's uncheck that. In After Effects, once we send this data, we can actually decide if we even need scale or rotation, but I always kind of leave those on just in case. So we can decide what kind of track it is. The motion in it from right to left is pretty big. It doesn't just do something around here, it actually moves from here to here, so we'll keep that on large. And that's about it really for a basic track. So what we can do here is go to this spot right here and click Track Forwards. And now you'll see what it does. It's going to start analyzing every single frame, and you'll see that our tracking data is following our boat perfectly. This is going to go all the way to the very end, and what this will do is create a whole bunch of keyframes that we can export right here into After Effects, and then we can actually start compositing footage and attaching things to this tracking data.